This is Shannon from That's So Po, and I'm here today with my husband, Sush. We are going to be doing a vlog for the Kekri party. Kekri is a Finnish harvest festival, and Rhea at the book Finch, who I will link below, came up with this idea of doing sort of a bookish Kekri party. So she came up with a bingo card with lots of activities to celebrate the festival, and we're going to be spending our day, which is Saturday, October 26th, doing a bunch of those activities, just kind of celebrating the fall and having a lazy, fun day. We're also going to be doing the Bookish Witch Tag, which we were tagged to do, both of us were tagged to do by Bree at BreeReadsBooks, and it was created originally by Claire at Rousseau. So I will link both of their videos below, and we'll do that later on today. So we are starting by trying to get all of the bingo squares. The first thing that I did was I showed you guys an intro video of some of the pretty views outside of our house at the beautiful kind of fall colors in nature, as well as some of our decorations for fall. So that gets us the outside square. We also are wearing extremely comfortable clothes, which is the comfy clothes. So Sush has on his robe, and also this is a picture of me. This is a t-shirt that I got made for Sush. It says best wife ever, first year anniversary. So I got him that as a little bit of a gag gift, our first year married, and then he always wears that at home. He loves that shirt.
It's the old comfortable t-shirt.
And then for me, I've got my favorite at-home sweater. I actually love this sweater so much, I learned how to darn in order to fix an elbow hole that had popped up. And I've got on my kind of fixer-upper Magnolia Farms t-shirt that we got when we went on a pilgrimage to Waco, Texas to visit Magnolia, whatever they call it. I've also got on, if you can see, the most comfortable leggings. They are just knitted and they've got little like reindeer on them. They're super cute. So we are going to be trying to do all of the things from the bingo. One of them is ancestors, and so we weren't really sure what to do with this, but I've got a photo of my grandfather and my dad, both of whom passed away last year. So we're just gonna have the photo up, kind of enjoying the Kekri experience with us as the ancestor part of it. And next we're going to work on the hearty meal. Sush is going to be making us some carrot soup. We love soups so much. And I'm going to be reading him from Gods of Jade and Shadow. We are, I don't know, maybe 60% of the way through this. I read this on my own, and then now I've been reading it out loud to Sush. And this counts as the myths part of the bingo. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next while. It takes a while to make soup, and we'll just kind of show a little bit of that. Chapter 20. The road to Xibalba was a ribbon of black ink, staining the land. The land itself was a gray desert. Sush has finished prepping all of the ingredients and throwing them into our enormous soup cauldron. And now I'm going to get us started on a hot drink, which we're going to have some spiced apple cider. So I will go ahead and get those ingredients ready and add them to our crock pot. Okay, so while our lunch is cooking, we are going to go ahead and do the Bookish Witch Tag. Question 1. Hop on your broomstick and pick a favorite witchy setting. For me, I think this has to be the Love, Sugar, Magic series by Anna Mariano, in that the witches, the brujas, they really just are at home and at the bakery that they own. And it's just this super cozy, comfortable, sweet setting of doing magic with your family and with your friends, and that seems perfect to me.
I think for me, when I think witchy setting, I think kind of like a gloomy area, woods, like forests, maybe fall colors, good amount of, just overcast skies and a little bit of
our
rain.
home.
Precisely.
Question 2, whip out your wand and choose a favorite magic system. For me, I really like the magic system in the Wheel of Time, in that the Aes Sedai, however you want to pronounce that, are these women who draw on the power, the one true source, and they use all of these different sort of powers of nature, so kind of like air and wind and water, right? And I think that's really neat. It's kind of like The Last Airbender, but in a fantasy magical setting, and they are super powerful. They sort of rule the world. They influence everybody, so I like that magic system.
For me, I think there's kind of like I see this in many fantasy books, like be it Grandma Harkin or the Terry Pratchett Witch series, where there's a notion of witches see the underlying truth of things and they investigate what is going on and then they nudge things along. And so basically I think that to me really speaks, and it's a really neat magical system.
And did you want to show your wand?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I have one.
Question 3. Gather up your magical herbs and occult ingredients and pick some favorite tropes from witch stories. So for me, I think my absolute favorite trope, I will read about this any day of the week, is powerful women who don't care about societal strictures and are going to do what they think best. I love that idea of women, like Baba Yaga, or women who live out in that cabin in the middle of the woods and they're just drying herbs and doing their own thing and they don't want to be bothered. I love that trope.
For me, basically, I think it's the power of threes. I mean, there's something in a lot of fairy tales in general, but witches stories in particular. And this reminds me of a Terry Pratchett book that I've read a long time back. I hope this is the right one. It's been a while. Carpe Jugulum, where basically we talk about basically a coven being the crone, the mother, and the maiden. And so in this book, for example, there's this notion of the crone, Granny Weatherwax, is increasingly, more checked out. And basically the maiden has, gotten married and now has a kid. And there is now a new maiden that's come into the picture, which then means that it seems like the mother has to graduate to become the crone, and Nanny Og is not having that. And so basically she's like, I'm not ready to be the crone, I don't like this. And so
I'm ready.
It's something which is a really neat take on a favorite trope of mine.
Question 4. Open up your grimoire and pick a book of magic to help in your casting. So for me, a lot of the magic systems that I like are not the ones that require spells or something that is formulaic or written down. I like the ones where you just access your magic through much more natural ways. And I think for me, many of those stories, the strength comes from within, comes from your own belief in yourself, and comes from your own strength of relationships. So if I had a book that did that for me, it would be our wedding album. So I'll show you a couple of pictures from our wedding album. So this is us. I had a green wedding dress. It was so much fun. We got married in the fall. Our 7th anniversary is coming up really, really soon. And this with my bridesmaids. I have my own coven. And Sush has his own very cool, I don't know, warlock circle? Not sure what it is. But yeah, so this would be my book of magic, my grimoire.
For me, I went with went with a book that's closest to being a spell book in a sense from what all the things we have, and that is Gödel, Escher, Bach, An Eternal Golden Braid by Douglas Hofstadter. It's a fairly, meaty book. And basically this book is something that I started reading when I was still in India. I got through about a third of the book. Absolutely loved it. The book is mostly about patterns in mathematics, patterns in music, patterns in art, and then basically it's kind of like trying to discuss the nature of patterns in general, and it also ties in a lot to programming. So it's a really fascinating read, but it's also a very, very slow read. And after I came here, I bought this book again, been intending to read it for ages, and still not have gotten back to it. So I'll get back to it at some point.
You need to brush up on your magic.
Yes.
Question number 5. Stir that cauldron and choose a witchy brew or a wizardy snack. So for me, I decided to choose a snack, and basically when I think of magical snacks, I think of paisam. Paisam is the most magical thing I have ever tasted. It's basically kind of like a rice pudding, but instead of rice, it uses vermicelli noodles, and it has cashews and raisins and cardamom, and it's the most delicious South Indian pudding in the world. I mean, it's just so, so good. It's magical.
For me, it's about comfort, and chai does it for me every time. So we'd make it from scratch back in India, but over here laziness kicks in, and this is as good as it gets for me.
Instant magic.
Yeah, and not an ad.
We are not supported by Stash Tea. Question 6, summon your familiar. Either show us your actual familiar and give them scritches behind the head, or tell us about your favorite fictional familiar. I decided that I would do kind of a mixture, a real familiar that speaks to my heart, but not that I have, because we don't have pets. For me, it is baby bats. Bats are perfect as kind of an accompaniment for a witch. And baby bats are the cutest thing, especially when they are in a blanket burrito. So for me, that's my familiar.
For me, it would have to be bears. I generally like bears. They combine qualities of cats in terms of generally being cool by themselves and that sort of a thing. But at the same time, they can be goofballs, and they hibernate, and they generally go about living their life. It really speaks to me in a sense. And so if I had a familiar, it would probably be a bear.
That doesn't fit in most houses, though. I will caution you.
Yeah.
Unless you get like a little bitty bear.
Yeah, I don't want to. Let them be in the forest. They like it there.
You'll go visit your familiar.
Maybe, yeah.
And lastly, question 7, call to your coven by tagging some other fellow Halloween-loving book nerds. So for this, I'm going to choose a couple of powerful, opinionated women that I recently subscribed to, who I haven't seen do any tags really other than the BookTube newbie tag. So I'd love to see them do this tag, even though there's only a few days left in October. So my feelings won't be hurt if you don't get to it. First is Book Nerd TV. And second is Girl Who Books Built. So if you guys are interested in doing this, please, I'd love to see you do this tag.
And on my side, Shades of Orange. I can't think of Halloween or horror without thinking of her, so yeah.
All right. Also, if you are watching this and you are interested in doing the Bookish Witchy Tag, please go ahead and do so and let me know in the comments that you have posted one. We'll go check it out. Sush and I have finished our late lunch of carrot ginger soup. We had a ton of extra soup, and so we're gonna freeze a bunch of it so that throughout the winter we can go back and have more soup. We now have cups of our spiced apple cider, which is our warm drink for Kekri. And we are about to get started on our last big project for the day, which is me carving a pumpkin. Sush, rather than carving a pumpkin, likes to keep me entertained by reading. So today he's going to be reading this book, which is Indian Legends of the Pacific Northwest. So this counts for the local stories part of Kekri. This book I think we picked up at some event we went to, but it is local for our region, and it's great, especially because the Indigathon and Native American History Month is next month, so it's a good time, and hopefully we'll read this throughout the month as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to be attempting to carve my pumpkin as a Edgar Allan Poe face, but this involves shading on a pumpkin, which I've never done before, so we will see how that goes.
Mount Jefferson and the Great Flood. Like the Hebrews, Babylonians, Greeks, Norsemen, and other peoples of the Old World, many Indian tribes of the North and South America had traditions of the deluge. The Indians of the Pacific Northwest told several flood stories. Okay, so after many hours, I was able to carve Poe's face. We'll light that up in just a minute so that you can see it. Sush has been reading to me from this Indian Legends of the Pacific Northwest for the past hours, and we got through a little bit of it, so that's been really enjoyable. Lots of flooding stories, actually. It's really interesting. So I'll go ahead and get a video of us lighting this up. We do have candles, little tea candles, which satisfies the last thing that we needed to get for the Kekri party bingo, which is candles. So we'll be using those to light up the Poe pumpkin. Okay, so that basically wraps up our Kekri party. We have completed all of the different challenges for the Kekri bingo. However, there is one more thing to do, which is to burn the sacrificial goat. Now, we don't have a goat made out of straw because we didn't know where to get straw, but we have two different types of goats. So one, we've got this little cute drawing of a goat, not drawing, printed picture of a goat that we will burn. And then second, Sush made this very adorable tomato goat,
which we will roast in the oven while we are roasting our pumpkin seeds. So we'll get some shots of that in the oven and wish you guys all happy Kekri.